is time for the show. Time to build some rock, paper, scissors. Time to figure out what's going on with this flow sending us bad data. Definitely got to figure that out. All right, because having 3 records doesn't make any sense when there's only 2 games in the system. Weird. Yeah, we should only see 2 of those. Okay, so what is... I think it's the middle one that's being difficult. I think the other 2 make sense. Let's see. Game 5. User versus U2. And what move did we play? Paper. So that makes sense. Second player hasn't played anything, so I really think that this middle one is bogus. Now let's check game... Let's see, that was game 5. Let's look at the other one. Game 6. First player played paper again. I'm going to change that so there's something a little bit different. Let's make that one rock just so we have 2 slightly different looking records here. And refresh this. I think there's something in the flow that generates the data that is just looping, maybe just looping wrong. Okay, now only one of these is right, which is okay. Maybe we can output the game ID just to compare. I think we're passing, yeah, we passed the game to each of these. So let's just output that, the game ID. Which actually it's on each of these. Well, I don't know if we can see the key. So we'll just show it here somewhere. Pop a little div on here. Whoops. Okay, did that wrong. And let's see, I have a feeling it's going to show the same number for all 3 of these. Yeah, all 3. Okay, I think something is not looping right in our flow. They are all the same, right? Yeah, these are 3 of the same game. So we have to go see what's causing that. I think it's... maybe it's something with looping our game data. All right, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. All right, let's see where to begin. I feel like we've got the UI all squared away here. We've just got to give it the right data. Well, and then we got to build a few other things, but so close, so close. So the flow in question is which one? We are calling get games by user. This is difficult. This is one of the only downsides of using Apex defined types. You can't debug with them. Apex defined variables are not supported. That's stinky because we probably do need to debug this and understand what it's up to. So I wonder if I can create, perhaps I can create a create an object. Well, let's just kind of take a walk through this a second. And I could bring this up in the debug log. Let's see if we can get this to execute in our page and then step through it in the log. Okay. All right, let's see. What can we make sense of here? Get current players by user. I'll have to go back and forth between this and the flow. So get current players by user. We have some player 12 and player I feel like I'm looking right past it. I feel like there's another one here. Player 10. Okay, is that consistent with the data out here? Game 6, well, there's player 12. Okay. And then game 5, our player number was 10. Okay, so the first step is getting the right data. Get current players by user is returning what makes sense. That's us. All right, now get unique game IDs. I don't think we output the results. I don't think it's going to show us the results of that. This steps into a Apex action. Two unique games. Let's see, we exit that. Here, oh, yeah, here's our values. Okay, so we get two unique game IDs. Those make sense. Okay, so we're here. We've finished that step. Now get player moves. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Are these our moves? Game. No, these are players. So where is this happening? I think we're still in get unique string values. Yeah, so I think we're done with that. Okay, we're still in get unique string values. Still in get unique string values. There's a crazy amount of. Oh wait. You know, we're into another. We got players by games. Then we have to get unique player IDs. So that's what's getting called there. Can we see those? Okay, so that's down here. Is that what we expect? Get players by game, so we get all 4 players. We get the unique player IDs. I think this makes sense. These are, yep, these are player IDs, A04. Okay. And then we get player moves. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 moves. Okay, so that makes sense. 4 players, 4 moves. We get those. We sort. We sort the results. I don't think that would affect anything. Then we loop the player moves. So we're building, let's see. So the first part seems good. The first up above seems okay. And then, I'm going to fix my hat a second. Oh, got something on my glasses. I've been wearing my hat all day. And my hair probably looks that way. Got a big nasty gunk ball on my glasses too. Okay, I think I got it. My hair's like squashed. Let's leave the hat on, shall we? Cold up here today in the upstate New York. Okay, so player moves. set player data. We build a player data, current player data record. Okay. Even odd counter. Create game data. Are we seeing these values getting set? Loop player moves, set player data. So we're setting that here. Right? That's our first iteration. I think these are the same. Yep. Okay. And then next iteration is U2 pending. Okay. And then at some point, are we adding that to... So we went down this path. We come back around. If the game status is pending, we clear the move. We create our opponent data, which is... where are you? Create opponent data here. Yep. Okay. So now we have game data, current player, opponent. That all looks good. Then we add it, gets added to the collection. So this is all one game. Pending, opponent rock, current, or opponent no move, current player rock. Okay. So loop player move, set player data. This is the next play. Okay. Check counter. So that's it. Something's off here, I think, already. Created our first instance of the record, or of game data. And then we add it to the collection, increment our counter. Come back around. So the next move current player. We set the current player data. But it doesn't... It's curious that we don't... Player moves, set player data. check counter. And game status pending. It shouldn't be going down that path. So check counter. Counter is even. Loop players by game counter. Is there something wrong with check? Oops. Counter is even? Does that get evaluated here anywhere? Even false, but loop players by games counter is 2. Loop players by games counter. Loop players by games counter. If this equals 0, or this divided by 2 equals 0. Something's off, but I don't know what. As loop players by games counter, is it a... Let's see, let's just check the data type on that. Yeah, it's a number. Very strange. I think that's our problem. Because right here, we increment the counter, we add 1, and the value coming out of it is now 2. So we did 0 was the current user, 1 was the opponent. 2 should be the current user, and it is. But then check counter even false. Let's step back and find our other check counters. Trying to get back to the top. Check counter even true, that's at 0. Check counter even false, that's at 1. Check counter even false at 2. Oh, wait. Duh. This isn't right. It's not counter is this a number. Me dividing a number by 2 doesn't make it even. Mod 2, I think, will do it. Math. there's a mod, right? Yeah. So if we mod this, mod that by 2. If that equals 0, then the remainder of an even number should always be 0, right? When divided by 2. I think that's probably the issue. Whoops. Got an extra something somewhere. Mod. Oh. Okay. I think that was the problem. Let's see. Let's save this version and we'll activate it. One change at a time. Let's see if we can get to where we need to go. That would make some sense, I guess. Because, well, still kind of curious, because would we have ever gotten to 0 again? I'm gonna trash this debug log, and we're gonna clear this, and then we're gonna go back out here. Sorry, I cleared this. Was off screen, so not showing you that. I can make this a little bigger, can't I? There, that's a little better. All right, let's refresh this. With luck, this just works. In reality, we may still have some fixes to do, but virtual drum roll. Should only get 2 back. Okay. Hey, we're back. We're in business. This is what it should look like. User summons U2, played rock versus we don't know yet because U2 hasn't played yet. User confronts U2, played paper, and we don't know yet. So, all right, we can get rid of this. This is a record this is how we expect a record to look. Cool. All right, now let's get rid of this silly game ID. We have 2 different records here, right? Yep, A04, A00 and A04. Okay. Oops. I'm going to clear out these debugs in my console. And there we go. Okay. Looking good. So now we can do other stuff here. Some things that should not happen. We should not be able to do a rematch while we have a pending battle. So let's update the logic for that. I left a drink in the room next door. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay. Whew. So, a pending game you should not be able to start a rematch on. So let's update that logic here. Probably in our on mouse enter, we don't want to be able to do that, and the click as well. All right, so handle opponent button enter and handle opponent button click. We'll adjust the logic on those. Handle opponent button enter. And we actually have that in place. Oh, wait. The status is not. Let's use outcome. Opponent enter. If it's pending, just return. And click. If it's pending, we'll just return. That should be an easy fix. Good. That's you, and you too. And if I click, nothing happens. Okay. Good, good. So now let's work on rematch. Let's get rematching. To rematch, I need to fast forward one of these games. And as a super duper admin, I can do that. I think this, either one, we'll pick this. We'll pick game 5. We'll add a move to this player. Pick a move, scissors. Magic should happen, courtesy of the flow. Oh, this was the game that I played paper, I think. Was it? I thought that was the one I played rock. Well, let's go see. Nope, that's the game I played paper. User bows to U2, paper submits to scissors. All right. So rematch. Click it. Get stuff. Can cancel it. Easy case. I like how the I like how the text loops into different values, but that might get annoying. All right, so here, and then clicking one of these should initiate a game, right? So let's go look at our API. Create game takes a create game request, and a create game request looks like a user, an opponent, the user's move, if it's a rematch, and the previous match ID, which is really this should be previous game ID, I guess, if we want to be, let's be good about this. I believe we have all of this data on our object, so we should be able to create a game request and then create a game. And the API name for that is create game, and we need to reference that in our RPS Arena game. Create game is here. So do we have... Yep. Okay, we have 4 buttons. I think we could probably have one rematch method and then pass pass a different value. Just pass a parameter in for the play. All right, let's do that. Data move name equals rock. Data move name equals paper. Oops. And data move name equals scissors. Okay. And then do we have a rematch? We're just going to have our one rematch method here. And we have our unrematch method. Call create game. That's going to do some stuff. This is going to be passing in create game request. I always mess up these calls. Yep, it's got to look like this. Make sure I'm passing that in the right format. I had a show a couple weeks ago where I just stared at the format and could not get it right, and it turned out I just had a silly syntax error. Burned half the stream. Probably looking right at it. Okay, so there's create game request, and then here's all the parameters that we need. I'm just going to dump these in there for a second so we remember them. Okay. We know we need user ID. I think maybe we'll put the opponent. Well, actually, we don't need that. We have the opponent as part of our game, right? So opponent user ID is, let's see, I'm going to look at player data. I believe that's game.opponent.userid. Yeah. Okay. The move, we have to look that up. I'm going to make that null for a second. Is rematch. Whoops. Is rematch true? And then previous game ID is previous game ID is going to be this .game ID. Let's just want to double check our. Yep, this .game ID. This .game ID. Okay, we're not doing anything with previous game, but I think we can add a field to the game and populate that, so you can sort of see, for whatever reason, maybe it'll come in handy to see the progression of of games over time. Is rematch, we also don't check that. I'm not putting that anywhere yet either. The move ID, so we have our moves. I don't think we pass them to. We need to pass the moves from game, or from the arena to the game. Let's add that as a... to add that as a parameter that we can pass. And go back to our arena. Game equals game. Moves equals moves. Okay. Let's make sure that that is true. Yes, we get moves. Take a look at what that looks like in a second, because I think that is just move records. We don't have a wrapper object for move, and I think that's okay because they're always going to be read only. Maybe we'll make a wrapper at some point, like a game move wrapper, but for now, we'll just go with that, and I think it just is returning all the fields. So, okay. So now our game should have that. I'm gonna make a. Let's see. We need to figure out what move based on the text that is passed in here. So I suppose. Yeah, it probably would be more elegant, right? If arena game looped over. Yeah. Is that that's what we should probably do, right? I'd like to say we should loop over the moves here, but I think one challenge would be, as I loop over the moves, how do I get the right icon name value for each of those? Because I can't dynamically write that. So maybe we'll leave it as is for now. We'll look it up based on the name. There's probably a more elegant way to do that, but this is okay for now. So let's find move by name. Move name. And as ever, I can't remember offhand how to do a JavaScript array. JavaScript array find. Okay, this is exactly what we want. Yeah, so name equal, yep. So that's going to be this dot moves. Should return the first one, right? So return this dot moves dot find. We don't need the index. We just want the element. Syntax always throws me off. And then we just want to evaluate if element dot name, I think dot to lowercase. equals move name. Okay, and so let's let move ID equal, or let's let move equal dot find move by name e dot data, wait, e dot target dot date. We'll have to find that. Again, I can never remember the syntax for that, but we need to get we need to pull that move name off of here so we can evaluate it. And so once we have that, it's probably the one thing we need to pass into our call create game. Everything else we know. All right, so create game is going to return create game is going to pass that into the create game flow. Which is doing stuff. So it creates the game. It creates the first player. The game pending the user. Okay. Creates the opponent. The game. Right. When we create the first opponent, we set the opponent's opponent, which is the first player. Right. That's why this looks weird. Status, and then the opponent user ID. Good. And then update the original player so it knows who its opponent is. Create the first player's move. We have move ID. And then create the opponent's move. We create the record. We don't do anything with it. Game is kind of redundant. It makes our life easier in Flowtown. Okay, so that's done. So we should be able to create a game. Now, what is this? This doesn't return anything, does it? No, it really doesn't. Feels like we should return a game data from this. I think that would make sense, right? So that we can then pop this onto our, or push this onto our list. So I'm doing this from a game. I'm doing this from a game, right? I need to tell the arena that there's a new game. So we probably have to have an event that pushes this up to the arena and then tells it to push it onto the, or I guess unshift it onto the array to put it at the start. But yeah, I think this should return game data with player data, just like our other thing. So let's create a new resource variable game data, and that'll be apex defined game data for output. Okay. And then I think we're going to just set game data on here. Game data.gameID equals that. Game data dot created date. We'll just make that the flow. Current date time. Game data dot modified date equals the flow current date time. We don't need it at such fidelity that we should, query it back out or something. Game data dot status equals. See, it would probably make sense to have this up above. I'm just doing inserts based on fields. I probably should create records, or actually just create game data at the start and then pull everything off of that. But that's okay. We're fine. Game data dot current player. Yeah, see, this is where we need a little bit more stuff back. For the moment, I'm going to just populate with what we know. This is player. Well, this is the request object, right? We can get that from there. We'll get the user ID for the current player. Game data current player status equals played. Game data current player name we don't know. Player ID we know. Create player ID from create player. And move we do know. Current player move. But do we know the name? I don't think we do. I'll take that one out. Our opponent, game data dot opponent, status equals pending. Game data opponent user ID equals, we can get that from the game request, opponent user ID. Game data opponent player ID equals the player ID from create opponent. Okay. A whole lot of setting going on, but that is probably important to have something come back. We will have to query out the move and the user, the player and the opponent users, so we can fill in a couple more fields in game data. Get that to come back. But And then let's see, our code needs to receive that. We don't need to do that. Create game completed. This should run in system context. All right. So we should be returning so let's see, does create game now needs to, our API call needs to actually return a game data to us. And then we need to return, just steal this. We're returning game data called game data. Let's say let game data equal stuff. And then to do from here is tell RPS Arena about it. So we'll write a child to parent handler up to RPS Arena. First, let's see if this even works. I guess that would be. It's not critical that the UI update automatically yet. We wanted to do that. That'll be a little more elegant. But for right now, let's just see if we can get in there and watch it in effect, in action. Okay. So again, we can't do a rematch on a pending. Let's open up the console. Try and step through this a little bit. Okay, going to try to create a game. And let's watch these also. So I'm going to rematch. I'll play scissors. Oh, we have a bad reference right off the bat here. We didn't survive because I forgot about the data set thing. We got to go check that value. Do over. Play scissors. Oh wait. Nope, something else is wrong. Did I actually save our changes out here? I don't think I did. No. Rock, paper, scissors. Save that. There we go. All right, third time's a charm. Rematch. Find move by name, E.target. Yeah, what? Okay, what can we get off of E here to... data set? Move name? Yeah. E.target.dataset.move name. Okay, cool. I really need to look up this proxy stuff because it just, there's got to be a way to see through that. All right. Where were we? E.target.dataset.move name. That should actually get us a move. And then hopefully we can create a game with that move ID. Okay. Refresh. Oops, we're still in debug mode. I'm never going to refresh from there. Okay, I have no idea what this browser window is doing now. Let's close a few things, I guess. What are you doing, Salesforce? Usually my answer to this is to just close it and reopen the org from Code Visual Studio. It shouldn't matter, but boy, it does get hung up sometimes. I don't know if it has anything to do with the inspector. Wow, come on. I'm going to kill the whole browser. Man, what is going on? Killing me here, Salesforce. Just come back to life. You can do it. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Man, I don't know what was that all about. Okay, we are going to click rematch. Click scissor. Got our move name. Not sure what just happened. Let's get back to here. What did just happen? Well, I guess let's break into find move by name and figure out why. What is going on with you? Oh wait, is it element dot? It's not element dot name under lowercase. Yeah, it's element dot name uppercase. Oops. Because we're just returning an object, Salesforce object for that. We don't have a wrapper for move. Okay, this should fix that. Okay, rematch, scissors. Found a move. Found an ID, passing it in. Going to create our game. Got our user ID. Got our opponent's user ID. Got a move ID. Do we have a game ID? Got a game ID. All right. Probably should have a. I don't have a. Whatchamacallit? A debug or dev console up, but we're just gonna send it. Just send it. See what happens. All right, we may or may not have gotten game data out of that, I guess. I didn't do anything with it. We didn't get an error, so we should have another game. Now, it didn't report back, and we also need to handle the... I feel like having rematch... We need to track rematch. We need to track it two ways. We need to track it on the... maybe it doesn't need to be... What side of the equation do we need to put rematch on? Because I would like to only... I think this makes sense. Only rematch once off of a match. So you can just like keep going, right? But you gotta rematch, like rematch game A, I lost, rematch game B, I won, rematch game C, but not back to game A. Once you rematch off of a game, I think you're not eligible to rematch off of it. Because I don't know. I just think that's how it should work. So we're going to do it that way. The other thing we need to do is report back to the UI and say, hey, we're done here. So we can, we probably need a is rematched result here. So it doesn't, just like here, I can't click into this. I shouldn't be able to click into that. And maybe it's useful to show some kind of icon that a rematch was completed or requested. But at least so I probably should write these down in our backlog before I forget. Taunt your opponent. Yeah, that's still out there. Let's see. Rematch only once per game. UI show rematch indicator. We need a child to parent event for create game data. So we got some work to do. And to top it all off, we didn't actually get our new record out here. So let's go check games. I was expecting to see the game we just added to show up out here. So let's go look at games, see what's going on. We have a game. Oh, we didn't set the user. We didn't? Well, that would be a problem, I guess, wouldn't it? We didn't set the user on the player, I guess. Okay, I'll buy that. We need to add something because we can orphan player moves inadvertently here. So I'm gonna write that because I'm gonna delete this game. I'm gonna delete this game because it's wrong. And then I'm gonna run this. Should be 2 records. Yep, good. Okay. No orphans. We do not want orphan player moves or we will have a bad time when our flow is generating the data for us. Okay, so let's go back to our flow because we got a problem there. We are not setting the user field as we need to. Indeed. Uh-oh, no user. How's it going, McMontage? Let's see, create game. Create game, create player. This is where I think, yep. No, wait. Yeah, we're getting there. It's starting to look like a game or something. All right, so user, that's weird. Player, user. Create game request. So I definitely need to debug this because that should be coming through. Unless I set it wrong in the code. User ID. Yeah, we definitely got that. I don't have any of these. No. Game status. Create game request. Should be there. Okay, well. Then the opponent. Also setting that field. Weird. All right, let's I guess let's watch this in a debugger and see or in the dev console and see what's happening. And we'll try to create another game. And we'll check this out in the console as well. Okay, rematch, yes. Scissors, yes. We know we're finding the move. Create game data, user ID, got it. Opponent user ID, got it. And they're different. Move ID, got it. Game ID, got it. We're not doing anything with those last two. Okay, well, let's clear this debugger and see what happens. Let's open this log. Create game. Okay, so this is really weird. None of the values came through? What? That's weird. Create game request. I'm pretty sure my reference is wrong here again. Wait. No, that should. Oh, wait. No, that's the right. That's the right format. I'm just get games by user takes a get game request. What on earth is going on? None of those values come through. Do they make it to the API call? I want to debug. I want to make a debug call in here where we bounce off of. Come on. I want to see what create game request looks like from here. And maybe it's the wrong name. No, because that's what's being referenced. All right. System.debug. Create game request. Did it save to the server? Oh, what's going on here now? Tonight has been a lot of watching Salesforce run slow. Sheesh. Okay. Well, we got our code. Let's find out if our parameters are making it to the Apex class, which then forwards it on to the flow. Let's see where we're getting lost in translation here. Okay, got this ready. Clear this panel. And I've got everything else ready to go. So rematch, scissor. Create game request is an object. Run. Yeah, those are null coming in. Why would that be? There's a syntax error staring me right in the face, and I have just not seeing it here. So I'm comparing against, where are you? Create game. Meanwhile, over here in Arena, when we get games by user, we're doing the same. Let's see. Parenthesis, bracket, close parenthesis. We're doing that. Get game request. This is the name of the parameter. Create game request. That's the name of the parameter. They're both objects. So we're populating that. Like that's it. What's going? So is there something in the? This is Aura enabled. And then our oh, I know why. It's because we don't have getters and setters on these. Oh. It's exactly this stupid problem. There we go. If you don't give Aura enabled permission to get and set, it will just leave it as null and pass it through. That should be it. All right, refresh. Rematch, scissor. All our values look good here. Okay, now go. And how did we do? I think that was this one. Okay, yep, now we got values going through. Now we got all our other stuff here. Okay. And finish stepping through that. So, okay, now let's refresh. We should have, The number of characters it needs to change is inverse. Exactly. Yes. I should have kept staring at it for like another hour. Then I wouldn't have had to change anything. Would have fixed itself. All right. There's our new battle. It is pending. And yes, I picked scissors. I don't know what my opponent picked yet. And cool. Okay. So we can rematch from here. Now I want to add some logic that blocks multiple rematches from the same. How do we do that? We need to tell the game somewhere on a game object. I guess we need to decide what side of the equation it's on. We can populate rematch here. I think we just let's just make a field called rematch and look up to the game so it can look up to itself, so you can just chain these forever. Call this rematch. Previous, I guess we'll call that. Have to add that to our permission set. And sure, leave it on the lookup. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. This is winter 23. Can't you set permissions easier now? No, where is that? I feel like I got to turn something on. I thought in winter 23 you could set field level security on fields like on permission sets more seamlessly. I gotta look into that because it would just be nice to do that while going through the process. All right, let's add it to admin for now. Yep, object. And games. Okay, rematch. So what that means is we need to update, let's see, in our create game, if is rematch is passed, then so rematch question mark. Yes. So if our create game request is rematch is true, right, then I want to update previous game rematch field. We create a field set on permission. Do I have to enable that somewhere in the org? Did I get that showing up? User management, enable field level. Cool. I'm going to go check that box next, although I don't know how many fields I'm going to... Of course, I probably won't have to create any more fields tonight, but I've been very excited for that setting. So ID equals, let's see, create game request, previous game ID. And now we're going to set rematch equal to create game ID. Okay. All right, so now we got some rematch mojo here. And save that. That looks weird, but okay. Activate you. Okay, so now we should have rematch, which I guess that probably means we should pass that back to our, so when I'm getting game data, I'll get the game ID, and then I'm gonna get rematch game ID. If we have it, we should be able to query that out. I'm not gonna. I could, I guess, return another game data record here, but I'm not gonna get too carried away with that. We'll just get the ID. So that is in get games by user. We are creating game data here. Game data dot rematch equals current item in loop. Oh wait, is this loop player? Loop player moves dot game. Loop player moves dot game dot rematch. I think. All right. If we have, if so, hopefully, if a game has rematch data, I'm gonna make a cheesy update to the output here, and then we'll just have it render that somewhere. See if it comes back. Okay, this should be ugly for... Oh, well, let's see. Did we actually... I don't think we actually have anything that has a rematch on it yet. We'll have to do another rematch. So we'll do one more rematch here with paper. Okay, refresh. Okay, there we go. So now we can see the rematch game on the originator. So we can use that to prevent a rematch on a rematch, at least on the browser side of things. Okay. So we already have some logic built in to those buttons. So if the outcome is pending, or this dot game dot rematch game ID does not equal null, I have to throw much more logic into that. I'll just make a property for it in the component. All right, let's see how that did. So hopefully that will cancel the ability to start a rematch from here. Okay, and it does. Yay. Okay, so let's do a little work on cleaning up the UI after we do a rematch. Because what should happen is well, one thing we need to do, let's see, if we get when we get game data back, this is the new game. And if I'm in rematch mode, I really should take the game ID from this and set rematch. So this dot game dot rematch game ID equals game data dot game ID. So I can set that here locally. We need to go into unrematch mode. Is that the, let's see, is that the event that we need to call? Yeah, unclick unrematch, okay. All right, that will correct the UI, and then hopefully with rematch game ID, it will not, you'll not be able to add that again. And then let's look up, because I forget how to do a LWC child to parent event, because I need to tell the parent that we have a new game to add. So instead of having to do a hard refresh of the page, can we just slap that onto the front of the array? And I feel like I've read this 1,000 times and just don't remember how it all works. So the child, we need to pass a we need to tell the child what to call. So we need to, and to do that, we need to create on the parent a method that will handle new game. And we'll do stuff in there. And then we need on the child, on progress value change. We need a custom event. So we'll say on new game. Up here, where are you? Handle name game. No, handle new game. Save that. And then in the let's say on new game equals handle new game. And then the naming convention here is a little wonky because we don't, let's see. On the child, okay, on progress value change, pass what we want to execute, but then when we raise the custom event, we just do everything without the on. So and then we can put that into the detail. So we will do this in our, so I think that's good. And then here in the game, let's dispatch the event. I feel like I keep clicking that every time I come into or switch windows. So we'll dispatch this custom event, which is going to be new game, not on new game, just new game. And the detail will be game data. I feel like I need another, yeah, we're missing, there we go. Just smash this all onto one line, make it nice and illegible. Perfect, okay. Dispatch our new game event, and the parent should catch that. And then we want to put, let's see, all right, array, JavaScript array, add to front. I think that's unshift, right? Unshift, yep. So we'll put the new game on top of the list so it shows up at the top. And oh boy, W3 schools. Yeah, unshift. Okay, goodbye. Let's see. So this dot games dot unshift e dot detail. Is that all we passed in? I think we just made game data the detail value. Okay, I can't click on anything right now. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Life? Hmm. Maybe? VS Code hates me right now. Not sure what's going on. It's just become bored with life. I can't do anything in here. Okay. Seems like the stream is pretty chopped too. Let's see if I can close some other windows. Maybe it's this browser window that I opened. Maybe. Okay, I think we're back. I think it was that browser window that I had open about the. I was looking up the custom event stuff. Okay, so we should be. Let's see. We should create an event, or I'm sorry, create a game, and then that game gets created, and then we get the game data back, and then we pass it up to the parent component, and then it sticks it onto the front of our array of games, and then we don't have to call back to we don't have to refresh the whole page. That might all work, and we might be able to test that once this actually saves. We'll see if we can get it in working order before we wrap up for the night. Or we can just spend the end of the stream watching Salesforce try to save. That would be cool too. I like watching browsers. Oh boy, we're frozen again. Maybe it's time for a hardware upgrade. I have about a 20% failure rate, it feels like, on streams lately. not quite catastrophic, but boy, do we get bogged down, and then I'm left floating around looking for stuff to click to close windows and whatnot. I have a very bad tab addiction. Way too many tabs open. This is kind of silly, though. Okay, there it went. Okay, let's see if we can close this out on a good note. Everything's going to work perfectly the first time, except I need to probably actually, since I can't do a rematch on a game that's already been rematched, I probably have to go tweak a game so that we have oh geez, don't do that. Don't click into that. Oh boy. All right, we should have 5 games. So I will fake being player 2 in one of these games. Let's see. I'll just use the latest one. Mr. U2 is going to make a move. All right, we ended up in a draw. Uh-oh, I can't rematch. Oh, I wonder if it's because rematch is not null, but just an empty string. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's see what the games look like. Is null or empty is a handy utility function that I think we're about to write. Oops, I put that debugger in exactly the wrong spot. Let's look at games. And rematch game ID here. Oh, do we even, maybe it doesn't even get passed if it doesn't have a value. Okay, so it's not a null, it's an undefined situation. Okay. Okay, so if it has a value, it will come back with it. If not, it's not going to return the property at all. Oh, hey, we got blurry. Focus. There we go. That was weird. All right, one more time. We got a tie. We can rematch. We can. We'll do scissors again. And I did not put debug mojo in here. Did we get any errors back? Create. Oh, cannot set rematch game. Oh, yeah, it's read only. Okay. my favorite LWC mishap. Everything's read only. So what do you get to do but make copies of data structures, and then they're not read only anymore? Sometimes blows my mind, but okay. Well, that's why it failed. But we are on the hunt. We're getting our data back. So I love seeing all this other stuff in here. Create red connector. Pass through set trap. Object. Okay. Leaving on a broken note is always a little bit of a bummer, but we are super close to, once we got rematches going on here in the page updates, as expected. I do have to go back and do a little bit of work on that flow that gets our data, because we're going to hit some pagination stuff here pretty quick. I'd also like to be able to do some filtering on the data set. I'm starting. I really wanted to follow this pattern of, like, let's use flow to do as much as possible, from getting the data, creating the records, like basically writing. The only apex that exists is creating data structures or offloading to flows. But I think that's going to get increasingly hard as we try to efficiently query out data for the games that are being played. So we'll see how well that holds up. I might have to backtrack that whole flow that gets our data. If we want to filter, or we want to sort, or we want to do other stuff with this data, it's going to just get increasingly hard, I think. So maybe between now and the next stream, I'll do some refactoring around that, because it just feels like reality is going to start setting in here. And it was an interesting idea. It was an interesting experiment to say, don't write any code except this API layer. Offload everything you can to flows, which is what I've tried to do here. And I think it works great for, like, create game, for stuff that's very, like, for like a transactional execution kind of thing. That works good. But I think getting data back, out of it, it's a massive amount of work to build the loops and create, populate the data structure. And now I'm about to ask this to, get games by user with a filter applied to it, or with pagination applied